Afghanistan. He was one of those UNO faculty members who went and taught in Afghanistan. So, the second director of the center was Thomas Gutierrez, who unfortunately is not with us today. He has some family engagement out of state. And then I became the third one. Tom served for 4 decades, 40 years, till I took over in 2016. But today we also have another person with us that has a wonderful connection with Afghanistan. Ambassador Ronald Newman, who served in Afghanistan, and whose father also served in Afghanistan as ambassador. So that is a wonderful connection. Thank you very much, Ambassador, for serving our country. There is a generational connection between our both countries and our universities. And that has to be something that we are proud of and we should celebrate. And I hope for the next 50 years we are having a centennial. I hope that's not the 4th or 5th director, but probably a big number. So, to mark this history, I have prepared a few slides, and then I will call Jack Shroder to come and join me afterwards to mark how the center came together, and then how we rebranded it into an expanded vision. Afghanistan was the first topic of our center, but when we looked at it, we thought that our engagement is beyond Afghanistan, because our center served Afghan refugees in the 80s in Pakistan. Pakistan has a different connection with the Young family. Their parents, Dr. Young and their mother, who recently died, may her soul rest in peace, they met in Lahore, Pakistan. So that's another connection that we have. I did not know about that. And I did not know about Shireen working in Kabul. So sweet memories, sweet connections there. This week is the Central Asia South Week of activities on our campus. We celebrate this week every year. We're proud to say that we have activities during the week. Tomorrow we have a lecture on ISIS. We have colleagues who present at 5:30 next door room, Nebraska room. And on Wednesday we have an online activity. And on Thursday we have a culture fair and photo exhibition, and also another wonderful event for our community members. We have a documentary premiere. Stranger at the Gate was recently Oscar nominated. It's about how American culture is working in the United States, how different religions meet, and how opinions change. A Marine who was thinking of attacking a mosque, who goes to a mosque and everything changes, and he becomes the greatest supporter of the community, and they become friends forever. That's a good story. And that is made possible with the assistance of the Afghan American Foundation. I have Mustafa Babak, the executive director of the Afghan American Foundation here, who made possible not only the movie premiere, but also the picture exhibition that we have downstairs today, with the assistance of Mr. Tim Ham, who is sponsoring that event. He is helping the artist who is hiding in Afghanistan right now. Wonderful artwork that we have downstairs is made possible for us to view because of YouTube. And thank you both of you. You flew in from out of state for this event, so thank you very much for coming. And now I am going with the slides. Where's my clicker? I have it here. We're going through a journey of the center, and Dr. Jack Shroder will be up here with me for at least the first 10 slides, which are with beautiful picture of his time. You'd be surprised how young he was. Thank you. Apparently my clicker is not working. Please go ahead.
I'll work with this. That's a picture of Chris Jung, of course. And let me give you a little background. In 1968, I was a geologist in Malawi, in East Africa, in President Hastings Kamuzu-Banda picked me to go to the International Geography Conference in New Delhi, and Chris was there, having just completed his studies on Hazara migration into Kabul. We didn't meet each other. I gave a paper on Afghanistan, on Malawi and maps, and some other stuff, and he gave a paper on Hazara migration. And then in 1969, we both came here as brand new professors. And Chris was a very energetic guy, and he came to me and said, I don't have my dissertation finished yet at Lincoln. He was ABD, all the dissertation. And he said, can you help me, because I have this country, Afghanistan, that wants attention, and there's all kinds of possibilities for grants and other things like that. But I can't get into the chancellor's office because I'm ABD, and he wanted my help anyway because we talked about an atlas of Afghanistan. So that's how this all started. So I got into Vice Chancellor Ronald Roskin's office, brought Chris with me, and we convinced Roskins, and of course it was the height of the Cold War, and the Soviets were all over Afghanistan, and the United States government was very worried about it. Anyway, Chris convinced them that we needed Afghanistan studies. So that's where the program came from in 1972. Next slide. There's Chris in the back. His younger days. Mic close? Okay, sorry, I can't. Not too close though. Next slide. And there is
That's what I said about this.
strange thing, but I didn't have any holes in my ears. Anyway, that's all right. I was going to tell about the other guys, but it's okay. So Safi,
You can go back.
can you go back?
The arrow.
Okay, so me in the long hair, and I used to have a beard too, of course. 1972, we all look like that. Harold Vitalik is the guy in the middle between us, just to my left. He was a defense intelligence analyst for the Soviet Union. He was not allowed to travel out of the United States because he knew a whole lot of stuff. But anyway, he was in on this, and Gordon Shells was our department chairman. And we sent Gordon as one of the first exchange faculty members over to Afghanistan right after this. And there's Chris pointing out Afghanistan. Next. Okay, so there's Lutfullah Safi, who was one of our first graduate student, exchange students from Calder University in geography. We gave him a master's degree here, and that was in 1977. Lutfullah comes to me and he says, Sir, my family has given me a bunch of money to go to Stuttgart, Germany, and buy a Mercedes. Would you come with me? And I said, sure. I was going to fly to Kabul, but okay. I didn't know that Lutfullah couldn't drive. So I became his motorbahn in a brand new Mercedes driving from Stuttgart to Kabul. It took 13 days. It was a wild adventure. Anyway, that's Ghulam Jalani Arez, the middle guy there. He was later killed by the Soviets. But with Lutfullah, I periodically would check in with him during the war with the Soviets. Did he want to come out? And he said, because I'd sponsor him. No, he said, I don't want to come out. We corresponded through Mujahideen couriers. He didn't want to come out. He said, they still need people with brains in this country, and I want to stay here a while. But finally, when Taliban took over, he was struggling to get out. And he tried several different escape routes. And he finally went over the border to Torkan Gate. And I said, you probably knew somebody in the Safi family who helped you out. And he said, yes, that's true. I don't know how much money he paid, but anyway, he got out with his family, which is all girls. His wife and 4 or 5 girls. Anyway, so he's in Karachi now, going through our labyrinthine paperwork to get to the United States. And he wants to move to Omaha because he remembers Omaha. And when he comes back here, I will come up from either Texas or Colorado, where I live now, and see him and introduce him to you guys, etc. Next slide.
I met him in college.
Did you? Oh, yeah. Okay. So then the Arthur Paul collection, which Tom Goudier was instrumental in getting here, Arthur Paul didn't, Daisy Paul, he had just died. Daisy Paul didn't want to give it here. She wanted to give it to a big Ivy League college or someplace, university. But Tom convinced it to come here. It's a very important collection. Next.
One thing I would like to say, Arthur Paul collection, we have a colleague, Amy Schindler, with us in the corner sitting. She is a wonderful manager of our collection. She's a person that makes possible the visits by our researchers from across the world. We have had visitors from across the world who come and do research at our facilities here. And she has kindly helped every one of them, provided them with assistance, provided them with documents, even when they email her, she has scanned documents and sent it over to them. Right now, we are working on one of the collections that was donated to us by one of our colleagues in the past who work in Afghanistan with us, Thomas Aden. One of our student workers who's here is sorting them out with her guidance. So that would be another collection. And Jack has given a huge collection of maps that we have helps the work.
I have lots of independent maps, but the Department of Defense gave me their entire map catalog. It was classified, low-level classification. I just gave a copy of it to them. I had not. Now that we're out of Afghanistan, I said classified. Let's put it in the library. It's history now. Next, oh, there we are. Yeah. So the Afghanistan collection is very huge, and it's going on. Most of it's online, is it? No, well, some of it's online. Next. So there we are, a formal partnership established between our universities, and I became the director of the National Atlas of Afghanistan until the Soviets took over and did their own atlas, which got me off the hook. But I had a huge map collection, which then went into my research, also in Pakistan, where I was doing research as well. And so I've been at that ever since. I've got now 63 books, 2 on Afghanistan that I wrote, and 63 other books on the Elsevier editor-in-chief. And Kabul University is still going, and the Soviet version, which is Kabul Polytechnic University, I also was there for a little while. Next. So there's a trip, a bunch of our students here that we had an exchange of our students back and forth between the 2 countries. And we took Dave Champagne, who used to work in Sher's office, and I took these students all over Afghanistan on various trips, camel rides, bus trips, whatever. Next. And there's the Center for okay.
Well, Jack, thank you very much for giving us a good tour of the history and a trip back to the time that you were here. I like your picture, though. The fashion is out, not fashion, but it was good times. Yes. So, go one slide back. There says 6 UNO students, Afghan students who came to Omaha in 1978. Our first, maybe one of the first times, I'm sure, the first time we hosted international students. And in the next slide, we had our study abroad initiatives. We sent students from here to Kabul, and with faculty who taught and studied there at Kabul University. So that goes back to the good times. And I think, Jack, you said you know one of the persons to the left in the picture. Probably one of the colleagues who went there as part of the study. And the picture to the right is in 1992, part of the Dale's Weber scholars who came to UNO. I think, Lori, you probably remember a huge group of them, multiple groups of them who came. And some of them probably are in Omaha, and I think we have a relationship with that, with those students who came to Omaha, part of that scholarship program. We brought them from Pakistan at that time, of course. So, 2001, during the Taliban era, before that, our center still stayed in touch with Afghanistan and in the area. We had activities, and before that. Let me give you another small story of the center's activity. In the 1980s, when Afghanistan was occupied by the Soviet Union, our university provided technical assistance to schools for Afghan refugees in Pakistan. Our university printed books. Dr. Ahmadzai was managing one of those projects in Peshawar, Pakistan. I was in grade school at that time, and I read those books in my school. And who knew a student who was reading UNO-produced books would become director of the center or something? So there's a great connection between us. When I was going to school, and I would say University of Nebraska printed these books for us as part of the technical assistance and trained teachers. And out of that, I was one of the products who came to UNO many years back, and now in leading the same center, and continuing with the same mission of training teachers for the Afghans. That shows our commitment as a university, and that shows our commitment as our state of Nebraska. I have a beautiful quote from the president.